Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. B. Khalilur Rahman. I am working as Associate Professor in the Department of ECE in the Lamalla Reddy Engineering College. Good evening, all of you. Today, I am going to discuss. You regarding the subject FPGA program. So, before going to start with uh, this is the subject of a final year students, final year, fourth year, first semester, this subject. So this is the brief introduction of myself. I'm working as associate professor in Nallamala Reddy Engineering College, Department of ECE. Now I'm all welcoming you, my dear students, my department colleagues, head of the department, principal, director Divya madam. To all this, since we have to communicate to the students, you have completed your third year, second semester, not yet, of course, not yet finished your examinations. You are entering into the final year. That is a graduating batch. For 2 more semester, you will be a graduate engineers. Since physically we are not able to connect because of this disease, a pandemic disease, coronavirus. So we are looking the class, a virtual classroom kind of thing. You might have all aware of this even in a previous semester. Your last chapter is continued with this platform. Yeah, let's coming to this discussion. I'll be sharing the screen. My screen is this one. Yeah. The subject is FPGA programming. It is a elective subject, professional elective 2, means that students are having an option to choose this one, or else they can choose the another subject. Here I have written this subject is of a BTech fourth year first semester, and this is a course code EC722 7. I think maybe this nomenclature 7 is for the seventh semester. EC stands for the electronics and communication. This is a seventh semester PE. This is a professional elective. This is the elective subject, and here you can observe here the 3 lectures, uh, the theory part, the practical. Of course, this entire subject is related to practical, but the JNTU has not has given the practical in your previous semester itself. The practical has been included in the previous semester in the subject VLSI design. I hope you might have practiced the programs in a ECAD VLSI design lab. So there we already have a practical. So in this semester you don't have any practical for this. And the credit, this C stands for a credit. It is a 3-credit course. 3-credit course meaning that in a week you will be having a 3 classes. So in a week you will be having a 3 classes, like that. How many weeks we will have in a semester, you can multiply, and of course we will have more than 65 to 70 classes in the entire semester. So in this semester you will be having a mid examination and as well as the end examination. The prerequisite for this subject is your STLD. You might have studied this subject in your lower classes, maybe in a second year, second semester. Digital IC applications also you might have studies. Switching theory and logical design. In some universities, it is called as a digital electronics. So this is the prerequisite. So you require a digital logic design. The basics to move this FPGA programming is you require this switching theory and logic design. So even in this switching theory and logic design, we will start with the Boolean expressions. There will be conversion of a decimal to binary, decimal to octal, decimal to hexadecimal. All these possible combinations with integer and as well as with the floating point you might have done. Then you might have aware of all the logic gates. Yes, we'll share the screen, and this is our screen. I was discussing about the digital switching theory and logic design, the logic gates, universal gates, combinational logic circuits, sequential logic circuits, the application of combinational logic circuits like half adder, full adder, half subtractor, full subtractor, parallel adder, multiplexer, encoder, decoder. And when I talk about a code conversions, binary to gray, gray to binary, binary to BCD, BCD to binary, BCD, I'm sorry, BCD to 7-segment display. All these things are the combinational logic circuits. If I talk about a sequential logic circuits, then there will be a memory element. The present output is depending on the past input. In combinational logic circuits, output is depending on input. There will be a feedback in case of a sequential logic circuits. So we have the flip-flops like SR flip-flop, D flip-flop, JK flip-flop, E flip-flop. By using those all the flip-flops, we will have the applications of a sequential logic circuits like the registers. We'll be having a serial input, serial output register, serial input, parallel output register, parallel input, serial output register, parallel input, parallel output register, a n-bit, all the shift registers we have. Then we have the universal shift register, which can go either shift left, shift right, parallel input, parallel output. All the combinations of the shifting can be done by using the universal shift registers. Then we have a counter. In a counter, you might have seen a traffic lights where there will be a up counter and a down counter. So all these are the basic applications of a sequential logic circuits. Then we have a Mealy machine, More machine. Then we have a PLA techniques, programmable logic arrays, programmable array logic. So these all are the recapitulation of your switching theory and logic design. These things you are all aware. Now coming to this topic, FPGA programming. FPGA stands for Field Programmable Gate Array. Field Programmable Gate Array. Gate means what? Gate means your logic gate. If I talk about this FPGA, FPGA stands for Field Programmable Gate Array. Array means what? Array is a two-dimensional array. You all are aware of the definition of the generalized meaning of array, where there will be a rows and columns. A matrix is nothing but an array. Array, what type of array? Gate. Gate means your logic gates. Your logic gates are arranged in a matrix. If you take a matrix, if I talk about a 3x3 matrix, what will be there? There will be 3 rows and 3 columns. So in a similar way, those elements in a matrix, here instead of elements, there will be a logic gates. Programmable. Those gates are programmable. Those gates are not fixed. Matrix you can visualize the numbers in a matrix. Instead of numbers, you are having a gates, and those gates are programmable. You can write a logic and you can program it in. Field, electric field. Field, field has a different meaning. If I talk, the farmer also uses that name field. There, the land represents the field. So even if I talk about a land also, there will be length and breadth. You can you just go back to your lower classes. If you want to find the area, if 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 any field is there, you will calculate its length and breadth. Again, that will be a rectangle kind of thing or a square kind of thing. There will the elements here, the elements there will be array type of array kind of thing. So field programmable gate arrays. So this is uh, the topic for the entire chapter. In the entire chapter, we are discussing about how you can program it for the FPGAs. Okay, these are the prerequisites. Now, these are the syllabus of the first chapter. So, in the first chapter, we are not directly discussing the FPGAs. Here you can observe, we are not directly discussing the FPGAs. We are discussing first simple programmable logic devices. Then we will discuss the complex programmable logic devices. Then at last, we will be discussing the field programmable gate arrays. So these are all the contents we are having for the SPLDs. I will not go in detail. We are having the read-only memories, programmable read-only memories. We have the programmable logic devices. PLA and PALs are the programmable logic devices. Then we have the masked gate array ASIC. ASIC stands for application specific integrated circuits. So these are the types of the PLDs. Then we have again the CPLD. Then comes the field programmable gate arrays. This is our main topic, field programmable gate arrays. To look after that topic, we will start with the simple programmable logic devices, then complex programmable logic devices. We have the architectures of the FPGAs, configurable input-output blocks, embedded devices. All these things we have programmable interconnect, clock circuitry, SRAM versus anti-fuse programming, how to select the FPGA selection criteria. The entire thing, this entire thing, you can observe it in a first chapter, in a first unit. So this is about the second chapter. Even here also I will not discuss so much. I'll just give the brief things that here we are introducing the coding kind of thing, FPGA programming. The entire subject is in and around the programming. We'll use a VHDL and a Verilog, the HDL, hardware description language. We'll use, here you can observe the hardware description language. We will see the syntaxes here. Coming to the third chapter, again in a third chapter also, we are having the extension of that VHDL or Verilog in a 3 different styles of coding: behavioral, data flow, and the structural style of coding. That type thing is, you can observe here, loops kind of thing, if cases, statements, assignment statements, signals, all this, the syntax. We will take an example, we will see the syntax, and then we will see, and first we will discuss the syntax, then we will see an example how that syntax is working. Coming to the fourth chapter, we have again the same kind of thing, the programming. These are the contents in the fourth chapter. At the last fifth chapter, how that can be simulated and how to check that static timing analysis. We will be discussing these things in the fifth chapter. These are about the 5 chapters in the FPGA programming. We have the first learning outcome. The first learning outcome is to study the PLDs, programmable logic devices, that is programmable array logic, programmable logic array, programmable read-only memories. This is about the learning outcome. Learning outcome means students can gain from this, from that first chapter, from the first unit, this is one learning outcome. Like that, I have four more learning outcomes. Totally, I have 5 learning outcomes. This first unit I have categorized into the 5 learning outcomes. So each learning outcome we will have one video lecture on this. Yes. Now, to discuss about the FPGAs, you should familiar with the electronics. All of us know that uh, electronics is a branch of physics which deals with study of electrons. If I talk about electronics, there will be a analog electronics and digital electronics. We have the analog components starting from the semiconductor devices. We have a semiconductor diode, a 2-terminal device. Then we have a transistor, a bipolar junction transistor. Then we have a FET, FET, field effect transistor. The limitation in a BJT is it is a current control device and there is more noise in the BJT. You can just visualize the structure of NPN or PNP. If I talk about a NPN construction, both holes and as well as electrons will take part in a conduction. Whereas in an FET, it is a voltage control and it is a unipolar device. Only one is taking part in a conduction, either electrons in case of a N channel or holes in case of a P channel. So we have a FETs, then we have a JFET MOSFET. While discussing about the MOSFETs, we have a CMOS technology, which is the combination of PMOS and NMOS. So this is about the history. This is about the history of the components, right from the diode to the CMOS technology. Now, the entire electronics is divided into analog electronics and digital electronics. If I talk about analog electronics, analog components are integrated in it. That is the analog electronics. All the analog components are integrated in it. All the analog components means what? You can have a transistors, a BJT or a FET. So here we are having a simple example of analog integrated circuit versus digital integrated circuits. IC stands for integrated circuit. Integrated circuit means all the components are integrated in it. Instead of using a discrete components, instead of a discrete components, directly I am using the IC. So this is the analog IC, a famous 741 operational amplifier IC, where we'll be calling this as a dual in-line packing, where 4 lines are here and 4 lines are there. You can, this is the first number, this is the second number, this is the third number, fourth number. Then what we have here, we will have a fifth number, 6, 7, 8, and this is the 8th number. We will use the IC like this. We will be using the IC, if the IC is there, the notch, this is the notch, we will be using the IC like this. This is the first number. So in that, this is a example of an analog IC. We have a offset, null, inverting, non-inverting. I'll not discuss in detail about the analog IC. So it is just a operational amplifier, where if I give any signal to 2, okay, then in the output, what? In the output, it will be inverted, 180 degrees out of phase. If I give a pure sine wave, that is inverted. The inversion of that we can observe. Non-inverting means the same in phase. We can have the output in phase. So this is for the power supply. Power supply has 2 cables, one for the positive and one for the negative. Okay, this is simply analog IC. Similarly, we will be having a digital ICs. These are all the digital ICs we are having. If I talk about a digital IC, a digital electronics era starts with the gates. We will be having a logic gates, AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate, NAND gate, NOR gate. NAND and NOR are the universal gates. So that IC is a digital IC. Digital IC means what? Digital IC means digital electronics. Gates are there. Gates will be there in the digital IC. The IC looks similar to this, but in analog IC there will be an analog components. In digital IC there will be a digital components. The looking of the IC is similar to this one, even the digital. Only thing is you will be having a number. 741 is for the analog IC, and if I have 7400, that is the NAND gate. If I have 7402, that is for the different gate. 7400 is your inverter, like that. 7408 is a AND gate. We are having so many gates here. 7408. See, this is a 2-input AND gate. I hope you are observing. This is the first pin. This is a 8-pin. This is a 14-pin IC. Similar to this, this is only 8-pin. 4 legs are here. If it is a 14-pin, then 7 legs will be here and 7 legs will be there. That becomes your 14-pin IC. So this is the 2-input AND gate, where 1, 2 are the inputs and third one is the output. Similarly, you will have all the gates here. Okay, this is these are all the logic gates, and these are the different numbers for different logic gates. So that's all we have today. In the next lecture, we will be discussing about the we'll be starting with the programmable read-only memory. This is just the introduction. We will start with the ROM in the next lecture.